All right, all right, all right. We're back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce, as usual. How you doing today? It is Sunday, September 13th. Hope you're all doing well. We got a string of some great episodes recently, right? You guys still listening to a little Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here? I hope so, because, man, that's a great record. I did revisit that myself yesterday. From beginning to end. Great stuff. What do we got going on today? We haven't done music news recently, right? We haven't done on this day just because I'm trying to keep these things, at a decent time, and they always end up being 10 minutes long. So, but let's do it today. Why not? Today in 1986, number one in all the land, Berlin, Take My Breath Away from Top Gun. Who doesn't remember that? I mean, come on. What a movie, right? That sequel is supposed to come out. I wonder whatever happened to that. But great song, great scene. Everyone loves that movie, right? Feel the need for speed. 1991, Geffen puts out a release party, or has a release party for Smells Like Teen Spirit, only to have the band kicked out of their own party for starting a food fight. Let's see. What was this? Vera Lynn went to number one in the UK. Was that 90? Was that 91 as well? She was 92 years old. She went to number one in the UK with her greatest hits. We'll Meet Again, the best of Vera Lynn. Why do I bring up Vera Lynn? Well, of course, Pink Floyd, that song. Anyway, birthdays today. Peter Cetera, 76 years old. A little Chicago action in his solo. Peter Cetera pretty much owned the airwaves for a while there, right? Don Was is 68. Who? Was? That band Was Not Was? Famous guy, but Was Not Was. Didn't they have that song, that terrible song, Walk the Dinosaur? I'm pretty sure. That's Don Jones. Don Was, sorry. Randy Jones is also 68. Who's Randy Jones, you say? The cowboy from The Village People. Dave Mustaine is 57 from Megadeth. And Fiona Apple is 43. There you go. That rounds that out. So what are we doing today? Are we doing the Talking Heads today, or is this just my shirt? We're actually doing the Talking Heads. Love the Talking Heads. My very first episode, 155 or 56 episodes ago, was on Talking Heads Stop Making Sense. I'll probably have to revisit that since I've gotten a little more comfortable in front of the camera, so maybe I'll do that one again at some point. But this is an important date in history because this date, actually it's this week, within a few days from now, but at this time in 1977, the album 77 comes out. It's their debut record. You guys all remember the story of Talking Heads? Originally, they're at the Rhode Island School of Design, and they have a band, and it's David Byrne and Chris France, and his girlfriend Tina Weymouth is kind of helping out. They move to New York City. They break up the band. They move to New York City. They're going to CBGB, and they see the Ramones in 1974, and they just got totally sucked in, and were just like, that's what we need to do. We need to do this again. So they got the band back together, but they didn't have a bass player. They couldn't find one, so they said, hey, Tina, why don't you figure out how to play bass? Just listen to Susie Quattro and just figure it out. So sure enough, that's what she did, and she became their bass player. Talking Heads, the name of the band came from an episode of issue of TV Guide, right? That's how they got their name. They practiced for 6 months before doing any live gig at all. 6 months they practiced. They honed their craft, and what happened? Their very first show, they opened up for the Ramones at CBGB. How about that? That's their first show. No pressure. And then they would just play for 2 more years, right? They played for 2 years before they turned down record deals from CBS Records. They wanted to just do their thing and hone their craft, like I said, and just become a better band. And so eventually, they ended up signing a record deal with Sire, right? They were the last of the big four from CBGB to get a record deal. That was Patti Smith, the Ramones, and Television. They all had deals before them. So they get this deal with Sire, put out this record, and it was critically acclaimed. People loved it. Even Rolling Stone, and now I said Rolling Stone is famous for panning records. In high school, I'd look at the 4 and 5 star ones, and I'd be like, nope. And I'd look at the 2-star ones, and I'd be like, I gotta check those out. That's a true story, but sometimes they did get it right. In this particular case, the review for this record was positive. It wasn't just positive, but I had to write down the quotes. I had to remember these quotes here. They said, "These are not punks. These are the great Ivy League hope of pop music. I can't recall when I last heard such a vital, tuneful album. It's a great album, one of the most definitive records of the decade." That's what this person wrote. How about that? I mean, they went on and on and on and on. So anyway, this album sounds like they're polished because they are. They practiced and practiced and practiced, and they played live, and they finally put out their record. What do you got for songs on there? Well, you got Uh-Oh, Love Comes to Town. Great song. I mean, this is like, to me, it's kind of like when the Strokes put out their record. It was kind of like that idea, right? Like, it was just very much like that. New Feeling, Tentative Decisions, also a good song. Happy Day, Who Is It? No Compassion, also a good song there. The Book I Read, Don't Worry About Government. I like that song too. First Week, Last Week, Carefree, and Pulled Up. I skipped one because that's your song of the day. I didn't hear about Talking Heads until I got MTV in '82. That's when I heard Burning Down the House for the first time, and that's when I got hooked. So then I became a fan, and then I went backwards from there, obviously. And they were playing some earlier stuff than that at some point. But I don't think they were playing this on MTV, but the one single off this record, it only had one, and it's Psycho Killer, 1977. Now, people thought he wrote that song about the Son of Sam because that was happening that year before, right? He did not. He wrote that song years prior. It's not about the serial killer Son of Sam. A few different versions out there that I enjoy. I'm going to play the one from 77, 78, so you'll hear that. And maybe I'll throw the one from Stop Making Sense on there too, just to see the difference between the two. But that early one is the one that just kind of gives you the feel of what they were like. If you ever get a chance, go check out the Old Gray Whistle or the Midnight Special. Those things, when you pull those up on YouTube, you can see all kinds of bands that played early on the stage, and it's pretty cool. So that's your song of the day. It's Psycho Killer, Talking Heads. Great song. That's about it. It's 8 minutes. We're good. All right. Have a good Sunday. Enjoy it. We got another great week coming up. I'm excited. There you go. As usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.